We did it.
We did it. What did we do?
3 weeks on the road trip. How many miles?
3,300, just shy, 3,300 miles in an all-electric Volkswagen ID 4 from San Diego all the way up to Seattle and back again.
People said it couldn't be done, but we did it.
There you go.
Yeah.
So if you stay tuned for the video, you'll see some of the things that did not work quite according to plan. And at the end, we have a wrap-up showing things that we would probably do different if and when we do this again.
But stay tuned because it was a great road trip. We have no complaints.
No complaints.
Yeah, we'll definitely do it again.
Here we are at Santa Rosa Plaza from Bodega Bay. We didn't go to Jenner. We went back to Bodega to see the house where the Birds was filmed, and then we had to go around the houses on this one because this is on top of the parking structure, which maybe I should have known, but we covered all the levels to get here, and so here we are. We already have a decent charge, but we are going to Mendocino, which is a long way, so we're trying to get plenty this time. So we've hit our first snag. We've turned up at Bayshore Mall. Happy to see that there's nobody at the chargers, but there seems to be an issue that none of the chargers appear to be available. So the beauty is on the phone right now. The units themselves say plug in first and get going. They don't say they're unavailable, but the app says they're not. And we tried to pay with a credit card, and that didn't go through and work, so we'll see what happens, but this could be a bit of a problem. Okay, so after our failed attempt to charge at the Electrify America Bayshore Mall, we ended up using the Charge Hub app to find the next nearest one, which turns out to be a Shell recharge. Very easy. So this is the first time we've ever used a not Electrify America station, but it's just like pumping gas. You plug it in, connect it straight away, gave it my phone details so it can send me a message, gave it my credit card number, and off we go. So we'll have to go and calculate how much we need to get to the next one, but this has been a very positive experience, turning something that could have been very bad round the other way. So here we are in Klamath, and this was not an intended stop for charging. When we were back in Eureka, we put in enough miles to get us where we wanted to go, plus a 50-mile buffer. But it turns out that the predicted range we were shown, as I had been worried about at an earlier point, rapidly disappeared when we went up into the mountains. So at one point we were up in the mountains with 40 miles of range and over 50 miles to get to Crescent City. So that we got some of that back, but we've been able to come in and use a ChargePoint charger only because I had loaded the app previously and preloaded some money onto it to associate it with my bank account. Otherwise we would be up a gum tree right now. Here we are at the Walmart in Crescent City, where apparently 2 out of 4 of the Electrify America chargers are working. And after a conversation we had earlier where we said we never see anybody parking in a charging spot who isn't charging, here is our first contender. So I don't know whether this is one of the ones that is not working, number 4, but it seems to be blank. But, anyway, we are plugged in, no wait. So we're just plugging in and filling up. Number, whatever that one is, number 3 seems to be good. We're on number 2. And that means there has to be, oh, another one. There's another one up here, actually. Look at that. I'm going to wander up here and see if that one's working, because I'm curious. Charger number 1 is out on its own, which is a little interesting. Here's the charging spot, so it's vacant. And this one is also available. Alright, so made a mistake here. Found an Electrify America on the Charge Hub app, and we've navigated to it at the Safeway, which is one of our favourite places to be. And we've turned out to find that I obviously didn't have the filter off that is for coming soon, because these are brand spanking new and none of them are in service, which is why it didn't show up on the Electrify America app. So that's a little bit embarrassing. Fortunately there are other chargers, so we'll have to go and find one of those. So having bombed out at the Electrify America because it's not up and running yet here in Coos Bay, we came to this Rivian station, and we're trying to charge at Rivian station, which apparently is free if you're a Rivian owner and completely not working if you have a Volkswagen. It simply refuses to allow me to pay or do anything, so we're going to have to try a third option. So we may have struck lucky at this Walmart charger. After getting connected as the only people here, 2 others have shown up, and the people that pulled in next to us are unable to get their charger connecting to the car, even though it says it's available and it should be working. And so they're now talking to the people on the phone about it, trying to see what's going on. We're still getting a great charging rate, so I suspect at this moment they're going to be hopping in after we leave. But it looks like maybe only 2 out of 4 are working. One's declared unavailable and the other one's actually unavailable. So we are at the Fred Meyer in Astoria, and we pulled up in the rain, but all 4 chargers appear to be available and only one was in use, so we've slotted right in. No issues here. They look good. They're all apparently working. Apart from the rain, it's pretty good. So we are here, where are we? At Target in Kent.
No, not Kent.
Just south of Seattle.
South of Seattle, but it's not Kent. It's Wally.
Well, please. Anyway, just south of Seattle. And they've got charger number 5 is down, charger number 1 is clearly not working because he's got it wide open. But we pulled up and plugged in, got charging, no issues here. Ooh, 32 kilowatts, that's not very fast. Here we are at Fred Meyer 40, I think it is, on the south side of Portland. Pulled up, there was nobody here at this one, so we were able to plug in straight away. However, it didn't connect straight away because 2 of these have got a similar issue. Oh, of course, it's not going to show me now. Where only one of the outlets is actually working and the other one is unavailable. When I plugged it in, it didn't tell me but I picked the wrong one, so I had to restart. Let's see, that was kind of the picture I was getting. So 3 of the stations here only have half of them available, but we're connected, it's running, and let's go and see what charging we're getting here. 131 kilowatts, so that's going to be pretty quick. Okay, so our stop for this evening is at the Ashland Springs Hotel in Ashland. We're down to like 70 miles and we've got at least 30 to go before we can get to a charger. And then we discovered they have these chargers available right here. They're only level 2, but we've plugged her in and paid on credit card, and we are just gonna let it roll for 2-3 hours and put a few miles on the clock, or not on the clock, but in the battery, and we should be in a very comfortable place to leave in the morning. After charging on a level 2 charger at the hotel last night in Ashland, we've arrived in Yreka, North California at the Walmart. There was one car here when we got here charging away, and all the chargers appear to be working, although one of them is on reduced rate, not the one we're on, thankfully. In retrospect, I probably should have charged more last night when we had the level 2, and then we could have actually gone on to Reading, which is our next stop. As it is, I didn't have enough buffer to be confident in that, so we're stopping here. We'll charge to 80, and it's it's all about confidence versus planning, I guess. Maybe a bit more planning would have been useful there. So we're charging over there at the moment, but once again there's a singleton right here with the Chademo, if that's how you pronounce it, port. So I think this is where we might have gone wrong at one of our previous locations. We went to the group of where they were not working, and we didn't stop to look for a singleton placed somewhere else. But I'm actually finding this is not at all uncommon. So if you do happen to show up and the set is down or there's not one free, keep an eye out for a singleton. You might be lucky. Here we are at the Walmart in Salinas. That's Walmart over there. It did indicate that all 4 were available, but when we got here, there was somebody who obviously just pulled up. And this is only 3 of them, although these are all hyper fast. So we are getting currently 185 kilowatts. Holy Jesus, that's a lot. Anyway, that means that somewhere else there must be more, because there's supposed to be 4 here, and none of these have the, is it Chademo or the other style connector? So I'll take a look around and see if I can find the other one. As I suspected, there is a 4th, the single one, which seems to be quite a common feature, so keep an eye out for that. We failed to see that at an earlier stop and paid the price. But this is often the one with the other connector as well. So this one's available, number 4, and it's right in front of the Walmart entrance. Okay, fun stuff. We are back in Paso Robles, and this time things not as good. There is these chargers here, of which one is working. And there's another charger over there which is connected and working, but we are 4th in line, and there was a car which I think is now bailed who was going to be 5th in line, this is a bit of a shit show. So not a good experience this time. We either wait a long time or try and go to the next one. The crazy thing is here that we were driving up into the mountains and the range dropped down to 38 miles. Because I've come back down to come and charge, it was getting so low, the range now indicates 60 miles. That's a hell of a difference. Hell of a difference. So if that's going to cause anxiety, yeah, there you go. We are back at the Bank of America Paso Robles next morning, and the situation is obviously unchanged. They've got 4 units here, 2 of which are actually working. One says it's available, one over there, but isn't. And number 2 is actually offline, and these have been not working since Friday of last week at least. Quite why one would say it's available when it isn't, I don't know. We are 3rd in line. It's 10:45 in the morning, so we're going to be a little while. Right, we turned up at a charge point. All 3 are available. It's at a Denny's just off the 5, and we pulled in, and where is it? Cajon Pass. And we pulled in, and they were flagging us down, saying, "No, guys, you can't come in here because we're about to start resurfacing it." And I had to say, "Look, I really do need the charge. We'll get whatever we can in the time." So not difficult to find, good stations. I used the app for ChargePoint, which authorized OK. Thank goodness. So having stopped at Denny's just the other side of the Grapevine, I felt rushed to put in some charge to get to the next place. And I took it up to like 35%, which I thought was going to be plenty, and then of course we went up the Grapevine and it sucked all the juice out of the car. So we have stopped at, where are we, Cajon Pass. This is also charge point at the Jack in the Box, so we're going to have to wait unfortunately because there's somebody else in front of us, but that's fine. We'll charge up here, have a bite to eat and a break, and life will be good. Only a single charger though. So it's been a while since we finished our
little while
epic road trip.
Epic road trip.
What was your overall impression of it?
Loved it. Overall, I have nothing negative to say. But that's me. I'm always the positive one in the relationship. Knowing you the way I do,
yes,
you're always going to have some things that are maybe not so good.
Yes.
You know, you're negative. That's the string to the kite part.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So I am a tight-fisted engineer, and as such, I love to use spreadsheets.
Tight-fisted means you're cheap.
Yes, and so I tried to make sure we went to all the Electrify America stations on the route to save money. Now, was
your nose.
Was that a good choice?
No, it really wasn't a good choice, because had we gone to some of the other places like Charge America, or what was some
ChargePoint,
ChargePoint, Shell Recharge, right? Yes, we would have spent a little bit of money, but we wouldn't have wasted time running around, if you will, looking for all the other Electrify Americas. So the Electrify Americas were free, as we know, but the other ones weren't terribly more expensive. How much did we end up spending in total at the end of the trip in charge fees?
After 3,300 miles, I think our total charges on fuel, including adding money to the Electrify America because we went over the 30 minutes, plus the charge point and the Shell, $75 for 3,500 miles.
Was it worth it?
Yeah.
I mean, how much would you pay for a tank of gas? Probably more than that, or just about that.
Well, in California prices, that would be up.
And that would be one thing.
But
go on. Well, the other thing that we only found this in 2 locations, and that was using the charger at the hotels. Now, granted, that's like using your home charger, so it's going to be a lot slower, but it would have saved some time.
Yeah, because I mean, you could have left it on charge all night. You'd have paid a few bucks, but the convenience of having it ready to go and fully charged in the morning would have been worth it. I think that trying to get to Electrify America all the time had a couple of downsides. One, we went out of our way to find them, and two, we ended up charging before we really needed to make sure we had enough charge to get to somewhere we were aiming to get to.
Yeah.
Or when we did use other chargers, I was only putting in enough to get us to the next Electrify America,
right?
And that didn't work well a couple of times, as you
all in
noticed
all,
on the video.
It was still fine. All in all, it was still fine. But I think we could have made it a little bit easier for us.
We could.
For ourselves. You could have made it easier for us.
I certainly could.
One thing that I guess we showed up in the app was that even though the app says that they're available, you get there, not all chargers are available.
Yeah, we did find that they weren't always as available as the app suggested.
Yeah.
And
so you can trust the app, but
yeah, sort of.
Not so much.
And then we also found that sometimes you'd show up and the charger would be working, but not at full pace. So you'd only get maybe a 36 kilowatt charging rate instead of 80.
Yeah.
And then you wouldn't get charged properly in 30 minutes, so we had to stay longer, and you get charged. Yeah, too many charges. The battery wouldn't get charged in 30 minutes.
And then we would get charged.
And then our bank account would get charged because we were staying in excess.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
That was the thing.
Yeah, the other thing that I don't think I got range anxiety except for those times where we didn't know the terrain, not as if we were driving around this area. So, if I know that I'm down to 18%, but I'm 2 miles from home, I'm not going to worry about it. But not knowing the terrain and hitting some of those mountains and up and down, woo, that was a little bracing.
Yeah, around town and around the cities, we were getting probably 3.2 to 3.8 miles to the kilowatt. And when you start going up into the mountains, we were getting about 1.8 going up into the mountains. And I don't know how many we were coming down, because coming out of LA, we went 60 miles and the range prediction actually went up.
One thing that I think was interesting is it was like the final destination right before you get to the Grapevine, and I mean right before. And we pulled out of that place, which you'll see in the video, and we pulled out. We had to stop short because they were repaving it, retarring, and I was like, you know what? Forget it. We got to charge y'all. Tar people can wait, but we didn't. And as soon as we pulled out, we saw that Grapevine, and I was like, oh, and we lost it, but we charged up on the other side. We didn't charge. What do we charge? 90?
We charged right at the top.
But at 90%, we charged
90,
up to. Okay,
up to 90,
we charged up to 90%, and we were how far away from home? 3 hours, 4 hours?
Yeah.
And we hardly lost any charge at all, because as we went back down, it stayed for the longest time right there at that charge. It didn't seem to lose anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. 60 miles after we left, we still had as much range on the battery as when we started.
Yeah. So that was nice and promising.
Yeah.
But you know, so that's exciting when you see it go back up. But when you're hitting those mountains,
seeing it disappear, it
was a little scary.
You begin to wonder whether you're going to make it to the next charging station.
Mm-hmm.
We also got caught out on that because I had not planned to come that way, and Google Maps, not always being your friend, decided that from where we were, that route was probably 2 miles shorter. So it took us that way, and I hadn't planned out any of the charging stations, and we went past a couple.
Yeah, but we saw the James Dean Memorial.
We did. It was, but it worked out fine. Anyway,
I think, okay, so let's talk about some good stuff, because all in all, it was very positive. I love that they have them in strategic places like Walmarts, Safeways.
Right.
There was a lot at the, wasn't Harris Teeter's, what was the store?
Fred Meyer.
Fred Meyer's. It was Fred Meyer's.
So
you could pop in, get some groceries. We would pop in right around like lunchtime, so we were able to, pop in. We're simple people. We don't need to be going to nice restaurants every day.
Yeah, the way that we were charging, it tended to mean we were doing a lot of charging in the middle of the day. So pulling into a Walmart or a Safeway or a Fred Meyer at lunchtime was great, because you could take a break, you could charge the car,
go to the bathroom,
go to the bathroom, buy some
shopping,
groceries, have
buy some
weekly stop at
souvenirs.
Subway.
We split
we
a
stopped
Subway.
in a, was it Jack in the Box?
Yeah, we had a really
So that
nice
was
sit-down
really
meal
good.
at Jack in the Box once.
Another quick thing that we learned at the Walmart and the Safeway particularly, they tend to have a block of 5 or 6 stations where you can go, and as often as not, they have a separate
One errand.
closer to the main entrance of the store with a single CCS point and a Chademo, and they were rarely in use. I don't think I ever saw
Yeah,
them.
I don't even. Sometimes they're really hard to find. I didn't quite understand. I don't understand the
That would have
science
been
behind
good.
those.
And I think where we came unstuck at Walmart, where none of them were working, that was the block. And we never did find a Singleton there. But
No.
I think if we'd have looked, because the woman on the phone that was helping us said there should be another one there, and that one's working.
We didn't find it.
But that probably would have helped us.
All right, would you do this trip or a trip like this again?
Most definitely, yes.
Yes, me too.
I would. It didn't work out at all bad. We went up the coast and then down inland, more inland. California and Oregon and Washington, I do think, for the most part, they are well populated with charging stations. That was good.
Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed the trip. Thoroughly enjoyed the scenery. And honestly, even though, we had some issues, there was never, like a tragic issue.
No, we didn't run out of charge or have to get towed or anything. I would certainly be more prepared to use anybody's charger like you would with the gas station.
Right.
I don't only buy Shell or whatever. So I would be then prepared to push the miles a bit further to closer to empty, knowing that I could pick up whatever charging station was there and wouldn't have to be Electrify America.
And we have to have those apps on our phones and prepared.
Yeah, so I
and
recommend
ready.
Charge Hub as an app was good because that covers all the different ones.
PlugShare is good, but PlugShare is more of like a social media sharing kind of a thing, whereas Charge Hub is an actual outlet that you can plug into.
Yeah.
PlugShare is more like, hey, I'm at this place and these are the chargers that are available, or kind of letting other people know. But, one place we got stuck, so we were in some pretty remote areas, and if you don't have good cell service, you can't download the app and add your payment and all that kind of stuff.
That could have been a real pain at that hotel because we would have had to have gone into the hotel, got onto their Wi-Fi, downloaded the app, loaded the credit card onto the app because the credit card wasn't working.
Yeah.
And it only worked through the phone.
Yeah, a lot of times you can't use a credit card in a machine like you do at a gas station. You have to be able to use the app.
Oh, talking of, there was another thing that my beauty pointed out.
What did I say?
You had said that you missed the fact that when you go to a gas station, you almost always have a bucket with a mop or something. So
to
that you
squeegee
can
the windows.
clean the windows. And you never get
No.
because there's nobody there to clean it, maintain it, whatever. So that would be something that would be good.
So if there's someone out there who's building up a charging station, make sure you got somewhere for people to, have a stand where you got the water, to squeegee, and that has a trash can there too. There's no trash cans.
Another thing that's different, noticeable, is that I've never seen a charging setup which is covered. You go to a gas station, they're all covered. So when it was raining, when we were up north,
that was bad.
You get wet. That's no doubt about it.
Yeah, that's bad. So if you're doing a charging thing, you're setting one up, you better pay attention to these things. Yeah. Give us some shelter.
And the next thing, when you go to a gas station, you tend to line up, so you know who's next for a given pump.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way because they're normally in parking areas, and so people show up, and if everything's busy, you don't know if you're next. You don't know who's coming out next. That can lead to some awkward moments.
That's why I think it's good to be social. He would always get out and start chatting with people and, kind of getting a lay of the land as to who was next and so forth. So if somebody came up, you're like, oh, no. You kind of develop a gentleman's agreement, if you will.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching if you got this far. The video, if you didn't watch it earlier, really focuses more on the bits that didn't go so well. Because it would have been very long if I'd have included just showing up, charging, leaving.
I like all the nice stuff.
But there you go. It was a positive experience. And if you want to see other parts of our trip, please like and subscribe and watch all the good stuff that my beauty here produced.
And we're going to do more travel videos as well.
We are.
electric and cruising and all kinds of travel stuff. So if you're interested in other kinds of travel, check out some of our other playlists.
All right.
Thanks so much for watching.